Oh, well.
Can't use last week's joke again. Sorry.
I only have two.
Hi, everybody. I'm Philip.
I'm Tommy.
Welcome to RCX Unfiltered. Tess is, as always, over there behind the camera, doing something somewhere. Gregory's still here.
Yay!
Doing something somewhere. Jacqueline's actually here tonight, too.
She is.
So, hi, Megan. We're all here tonight.
Wow, that's crazy.
Welcome to episode 12,000. We're pulling a Marvel. We did.
Yeah.
It's episode 12,000. This is our 36th anniversary special.
That's right.
So we calculated the days. I'm probably off by a few days here or there, but it's close to, we've been open for 12,000 days. Around there. In the early days of Richmond Comics, we were only open either 5 or 6 days a week, depending on when it was.
Yeah, when I started 100 years ago, we were closed on Mondays and Tuesdays.
So,
and I did not like that.
Yep,
at all.
And then before that, we were open every now and then. We were open 7 days a week, but then we would go to where we were only open 6 days a week.
It really depended on Frank's mood.
A lot during those times depended on Frank's mood during those days, during the early days of Richmond Comics, back when we were a skateboard shop. Gregory, do you remember when we were a skateboard shop?
Was Gregory even alive then?
I'm pretty sure he was not.
And what year was that?
87.
You know.
I didn't think Gregory was born in 87. I did not think he was. I didn't think he was around then.
No.
It was just us, man.
My mom was graduating high school.
Oh.
Wow. Huh. Gregory's a baby.
He is.
Watch it.
It's Gregory.
Yeah, we're just
talking about Gregory.
Well, I mean, it's been about 4 weeks, so. How did you track?
I haven't said anything bad yet.
It's a real shocker because I was born in 2003.
What?
Does that make you feel old?
You were born when?
I know.
Both my kids are older than you.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
That's not even a real number. You have to say and in the year she was born.
2003.
2003.
I was born back in 03.
Oh, 3.
I'm pretty sure I have shirts older than Tess.
I know I do. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I know I do. Jacqueline took my Braves World Series shirt from 95. and she's still wearing that. So yeah. So I officially have shirts. I think I had a Black Cat Terry Dotson shirt from like 2003 that I finally had to throw away because it got ripped.
Yep.
So fun.
Brian says he remembers back all the way to episode 10.
Wow. Man, you got a good memory.
That's a long time ago. Yeah. We barely remembered what happened 5 minutes before this started.
I was in the cave pricing books.
The cave.
That's where I live now.
Wow. Huh. So anyway, we're gonna quickly go through some books this week, only because we have books coming out this week, and then we're going to spend some time on just comic stuff and 36 years of.
We're gonna old man all over the internet.
Right. We're gonna old man all over the internet. Back in my day.
And really, I've been pricing a lot of silver, and honestly, the last couple hours, some Golden Age books. So, like, I'm in the right mindset. Back in my day, how much were 10 cents? Well, 52 pages.
They didn't put none of that glossy stuff on it. All right. First,
a book we're not going to talk about.
Amazing Spider-Man 26. Hey, this comes out tomorrow.
It does.
It's a thing.
Yep. We will probably talk about this book next week. We want everybody to have the chance to read it and get mad or get sad or not care.
Hey, I won't talk about it next week. Tommy and Tess will be talking about it
I'll
next
read
week.
it with no context for the rest of the series.
That you won't need it.
Yeah, you won't. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Yeah. I could dial in. I could dial in.
Dial in.
Yes, this is the one making all the noise.
Yes.
This is the one where Zeb Wells' editor was like, "Don't go to any cons after this book comes out."
This is also the one where stuff happens.
Stuff does
Stuff
happen,
does
Gregory. You are correct. Stuff does happen. There are things going on. People are involved.
There's a plot.
Does it thicken?
No.
And
No.
the important thing here, it talks about the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack, which I just purchased this past weekend
It's quite good.
on record LP.
It's quite good.
I went to somewhere.
Like, as much as I like the first two movie soundtracks, this one, because a lot of it's like late 80s, early 90s stuff, like it hits me like anyway. This one.
Anyway, so that's the
Anyway.
important thing on the back of Amazing Spider-Man 26 is
Mhm.
the Guardians soundtrack.
Yep.
Next, we're going to talk about Local Man number 4.
Yeah. A book that neither one of us really thought much about at the beginning. It was like, oh, Tim Seeley's doing a new book. We'll read
Or
it.
Local Man number 4.
Mm.
Cleavage Lady,
Yep.
I believe, is her superhero name.
So yeah, so the only thing that actually got me to read this book was Tim Seeley.
Same.
Like if anyone else was writing this book or I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah. Like
But-
it's random image book that's tied to like the Youngblood type stuff. So like not a thing I would care about
No.
normally at all.
But it has been really, really good.
Yeah.
Like so this is your main story, and they've been doing backup stories. So your backup stories look more like your 90s Image
Yeah,
comics.
it's definitely set in the early days of Image, like
Yeah.
when Youngblood was like the thing. And
Which
this
takes place in that universe.
Yeah,
because they
it
talk
does.
about
Yep.
Young Blood and Shadowhawk.
Yeah, and so like the backup is like that 90s art style, and it's super edgy just for the sake of being edgy for whatever reason.
But the whole premise is, as a whole, it's way deeper than this. But what happens when the superhero team you're a part of has trademarked your name and then kicked you out?
Yeah. And then you go home and your parents are like, we're so disappointed in you. Like that's
Yeah.
how the first issue kind of starts.
And you can't do anything.
Yeah. They're like,
We don't.
everybody in town's like, hey, remember when you were somebody? Like it's
but
it's really well
yeah.
done.
And then it turns into a
Yeah.
murder mystery. and
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's,
And there's an adorable puppy.
and there is, yeah.
It's a very cute dog.
Things happen. He gets beat up and he goes, "Where's my dog?"
Yeah. Like first thing he's
First
like,
thing.
I don't care where I am. Where's my dog? Yeah. Anyway, book's real good.
Yeah. So there's Local Man.
Yeah.
And then next up is next up is The Blue Flame from Vault, and this is the graphic novel. So this was a 10-issue series that unfortunately came out during the apocalypse. So a lot of people didn't see this because since it was during the apocalypse, it came out sporadically. But this is a Cantwell book, and I've kind of made it one of my missions to read all of his stuff. And so I was reading this when it was coming out, and this is really what put Christopher Cantwell purely at the top of my list of writers.
I know when this book was coming out, individual issues, Philip was like, every time one came out, he was like, you need to read this. I'm like, yeah, I'll read it. Sure. So finally, to this morning, it was the first thing I did this morning. I read this book, and man, I'm mad I wasn't reading it when it was coming out. God, it's
It's deep.
it's very deep. It's thick. This trade is a thick boy.
There you go.
There's a lot of story,
And it's
to
only
this.
$19.99 too. So
Yeah, it's 10
It's not-
issues for $20. Like, I mean, as far as comic value goes, it's pretty solid.
it's pretty, yeah.
Oh, and then the like in the back of it, all the various variant covers that they did are all in there, or at least
I think
A
it was
good
the A
number of
covers.
them.
Yeah, it was all the A covers. They
was
did.
it okay?
Yeah, because remember during the time Vault was doing those VHS,
Oh,
so they didn't do
right.
they did a
Yeah.
couple of those. I think this one actually had a ROM variant too. They did a Marvel ROM
I
variant
vaguely
for
remember
this.
that. Yeah.
Would you say it's more action, drama, or comedy?
I would not say comedy.
It's not a lot of comedy.
Yeah. action, lots of
There is
action,
there is
lots
quite
of drama.
like some sci-fi action, and then some like very like personal, like very personal stories about like families and hope.
Right.
Like
And
it's
and so this also does not take place in any superhero universe.
yeah, it's very standalone.
It's basically by itself, and the Blue Flame himself is set up as a vigilante group that technically, if you go to some of these bigger cities now, currently in the US, you'll hear about people doing vigilante groups going around. That is this. That is what is in here.
Yeah,
It's not. It's insane.
there is a lot of moving parts to the story, and they're all connected. And God,
Yeah, you'll
I don't
be-
want to spoil anything.
Yeah, it's hard to
This is the
talk really
problem.
about
Yeah.
it about spoiling. And
God.
since it just came out, and I'm pushing this book, I don't want to spoil a whole lot on here. But if you want to read a comic that does have a lot of action, it does have a lot of drama, and it's going to make you think,
And
this
it might
is your book.
it might on the last page when you get to the end, it might make you tear up a little
There's a
because
chance.
it did me.
There's a chance. So it is. I'm not going to say I read everything Vault puts out. I read quite a few things that Vault puts out. So far, this to me is the best thing.
I have to agree. And like
Now,
I love
Barbaric
Barbaric.
Barbaric
I love
is different.
Barbaric, but it's very silly fun.
Yeah.
And this is a thinking
Yeah.
piece.
Yeah, this is not
Yeah.
a drunken axe.
No.
This is also going to make you think, and I think it goes back to my favorite. Once again, my favorite book of all time is Midnight Nation.
Mhm.
Right? It is very much a thinking book. This is very much a thinking book.
Yeah.
So, if you get a chance, pick this up.
It's very good.
It is very, very good. So, yes. And I did talk Bill into
Yeah.
getting one. There's one in your box.
Yeah. There is.
You will like it. immensely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
So good.
All right. So, well, we haven't done a fashion show yet. So it's fashion
Oh.
time.
Well,
We missed our fashion segment because we jumped into this to talk about. So
we're
what
all
is
wearing the same thing.
Hey,
We are,
look!
look.
Hey, isn't that so
Hey,
cool?
our new shirts. So if you ordered one of our shirts when we had them up for sale, you should have already received it already.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, that was a theory that we were told, is that everyone ordered. They mailed out last week.
Yeah, I got
So
mine
hopefully you-
Wednesday or Thursday, I think.
I think we got ours Thursday. So that was how that went. So
And they're pretty nice. Like I wasn't sure what to expect. I've never ordered anything from that particular company before, but they're pretty solid.
yeah, now I'm going to think about the Care Bear thing the whole time.
Yep.
Though now that you brought it up, never once did it cross my mind, and now it's
That was Phoebe's first thing. She was like, I'm gonna look like a Care Bear in this shirt. And I was like, no, it'll be fine.
Next time we'll do 2 logos on the pockets, both sides. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Yeah, we're not going to do.
Perfect.
Not going to do that. Anyway, we got a lot of stuff going on this week. As we mentioned, hopefully, if you're a subscriber, you notice we have our subscriber sale coming up on Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, we will close our shop at normal time, which is 7, and then we will reopen at 7:30. Go to about 10-ish.
It will depend on
Who's here?
and like if at 9:30 there's no one here, I'm gonna go home.
Yeah, right.
But
yeah.
if at like 10 there's a million people in the store,
Yep,
I'm gonna hang around.
That's right.
Like it all depends on how many people are here.
Right. And man, I keep meaning to get this thing out. Where's that? Here we
Oh, Philip left. Bye,
go.
Philip.
coming back. And for the first however many people get here,
25.
okay. Well, it's not gonna be 25 because I know I'm taking one.
All right, 24.
We have these Marvel. I meant to open them earlier. and I didn't.
M&M's. The Marble M&M's book.
They're Marvel Comics M&M's. So here you go. You will get A Mistaken Identity, Marvel Comics, M&M, #1. There you go. And you may actually get a bag of M&Ms. No, still not the wrapper. These are actually, these are the M&Ms.
M&Ms.
Does the sale include young adult books?
Yes.
See. Sorry, I was looking at the Spanish section.
Okay. Yep. So yeah. So here's your creative team for your M&M comics. There. That's all I got. Must be a mystery because she's got a magnifying glass. So
The mystery is, where did her go-go boots go? There's a person on the internet
it's
really
cut off.
angry about it.
It's cut off on the page. Well, let's see if she's got her go-go boots inside.
They changed her to sneakers.
Oh, they did.
Some-
Yep, she's got her sneakers on.
Yeah, and
Yep.
certain people lost their mind about it. But
Yep.
anyway,
Yeah. Anyway, Yep.
anyway,
they snuck in there. So, yep. So we will have that for the first, probably say 20 people that come in, and
Yep.
would probably have M&Ms. So you can get M&Ms and an M&M comic by Marvel.
It's a lot of M's.
It is.
Mm.
It all just worked out.
Perfectly.
It all just worked out. You know, Marvel wanted to make an M&M comic. They wanted to send it to me. And then we were able to give it away whenever we wanted. So
Yeah.
This is what we're doing.
This seems like a good weekend to do it.
So cool.
It does. So, yep. So once again, if you're a subscriber, you should have gotten all the details for that when you got your books.
And if you're not a subscriber, come in Saturday.
Yep.
And we'll be having a sale on Saturday as well.
Correct. So Saturday will be technically our official open to everyone 36th anniversary.
Yep.
So that's what we will be doing. So that is what we're doing. So
Yep.
technically our 36th anniversary is Thursday, June the 1st.
Yep.
That is when we were officially incorporated and opened. And I think and then the 10th was our first Wednesday. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
But we were, June 1st is our official 36 years of something. And I think we are now hitting 22 years in
Is it
this
22?
shopping center.
Okay. I couldn't remember if it was 21 or
No, it's
22. Somebody asked me
22 now.
earlier, and I was like,
Yeah, I think it's 22 this year.
okay.
So 22 years in this shopping center. So when Richmond Comics opened, they were, as I mentioned before, it was a comic and skateboard shop.
Yeah.
In Beaufort. Sorry, Beaufort.
Yeah, right.
Beaufort was the second one, Beaufort.
Yep.
And I think we were in Beaufort for 8 months. Then we moved to Beaufort,
Mhm.
which they have completely torn down. If no one has been down there,
I have not. Is it just gone?
so basically all that whole side is gone.
Wow.
Like they have completely torn it because they were putting an ice skate ring and stuff there.
Oh, sure.
So it was Best Products, had the big building,
Mhm.
and we were in a cubby hole that went way in the back.
Yeah.
And so that's where we were. And that shop was a decent size. That shop was a decent size shop. I think it was like 2,000 square feet.
Okay.
So most of it may have been in the back, but it was, I think the back was just as big as the front.
Well, I guess it was a skateboard shop. Did they sell shoes and stuff too?
No,
No.
it was mostly just all the boards and all the bearings and wheels. It was,
Gotcha.
and then after we moved from Beaufort to Beaufort, it was still a skateboard shop for a little while, but then it quickly converted to a dart
Yes.
and comic shop because Frank loved darts. And there was up front, there was a dartboard. It was laid out. He would if no one was in the store, he would practice for hours and hours. And then they would go down to the pub downtown, one of the English pubs downtown.
Blimey. I don't know.
Where is or was that shopping center?
So Beaufort was right where Midlothian and Chippenham meet. So
is that the one that was across from Cloverleaf?
It's across from
Where?
Kroger now.
Where Cloverleaf
Yeah,
used to
where
be.
Cloverleaf used to be. So it's across from Cloverleaf Mall. I'm not sure what they call that shopping. I think they changed the name of it too.
Well, it's not really shopping center anymore. It's plowing
Isn't there a giant church or something right there now?
No, they,
Is that the one they're plowing down right now?
yeah. So they're plowing it down because they're going to put in more retail, apartments, and a skating, ice skate rink.
Gotcha.
There. So that's what's going in there.
Mhm.
And we were there for a handful of years. Wasn't a long time. And then we came up Midlothian into the Red Wing Shopping Center, which was at Chippenham and Midlothian. That's so currently I think Red Wing is still there. The shoes. Red Wing shoes.
I also miss Peaches. I love that store.
Yeah. Yep, that was always that was always right there. So you could leave. We could leave the shop and walk up to Peaches and look at the records and stuff.
I grew up in and around Ashland, so the Peaches I was familiar with was on Broad. Like until 288 went in, I almost never came to Southside because back in those days, there was like you had to get paperwork and get some shots, and like you had to fill out a bunch of forms. I don't know, just going across the river was too much hassle, so I just didn't do it.
Yep.
Now in '94, I sold.
Bye, Gregory.
I sold all of my Magic cards to a guy, and part of it was he traded me store credit that he had at Richmond Comics. So I went with him to the Richmond Comics over by Red Wing Shoes. And it was the first and only time I was ever in that store.
Really?
And burned a couple $100 of his store credit.
We were actually in two locations in that. So we were in a smaller when we left Beaufort, we moved to one of the places in Red Wing, and it was a little bit smaller. And then we moved to another place, and that's where we got robbed. We got robbed in
Pokemon Summer.
Yeah, I can't remember if that was Pokemon Summer or not.
I know it was Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm sure it was some Pokemon stuff,
Yeah.
but I don't know if it was that. It had to be probably that summer. That's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah.
There was 1 year where Pokemon was like, people think Pokemon was insane now.
99. The summer of 99. Frank told me that if they put Pikachu on a toilet seat, he could sell
And we could. It didn't matter. Like we were getting like video games from China.
Yeah.
Like we would get like all the gold editions or whatever, and like we could sell them. Like you could play them on your current Nintendo system, but they were all in Japanese.
When I started working here, I spent a significant amount of time in the back room hunting for treasure. I would find a box of random cards, and it was like some random like Lion King trading cards, and then like here's this $300 Magic card, and here's some Star Wars cards, and it was just a lot of random stuff. And I found Game Boy Color, Japanese Game Boy Color Pokemon games that had promo cards in them.
Yep.
That I held on to them for years and used them as prizes in like Pokemon tournaments.
Yep.
And people went nuts for them.
Yeah. Just so you know,
Crazy.
I just threw away those Lion King cards when I was cleaning out. So all those cards that we had during all those non-sports cards, I just got through throwing them all away. I had enough of them. Like I need to clear out space.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Like they're just gone. Just like I don't know if people remember, but in this timeline of Richmond Comics, if everyone remembers in the 90s when X-Men 1 came out, Frank truly believed in X-Men 1. And he must have, if he ordered one, he ordered 1 million copies. And just so everyone knows, we threw away hundreds of those number ones when we moved shops. Yeah. And we still have
every collection I buy has one of each cover. And I buy a lot of collections. So, and then like we keep, like I think we threw away like a long box full. And
if not more.
and
I remember
keep
throwing
finding
away.
more somehow.
I remember throwing away a bunch.
All right, you may have thrown away more than I remember. I know there was a long box I got tossed. Beyond that, I don't remember.
Like I remember throwing away a ton.
But yeah,
It was a lot.
but the way I look at it, the more of them we throw away, the more likely it is the book will be worth more than $5 one day.
I mean, I think it's still like one of the top produced comics
Yeah,
of all time.
5 million copies. That book, I wrote an article for my high school newspaper about them selling 5 million copies of X-Men #1. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a ton.
Mm-hmm.
And then we ended up coming. So after the break-in down there, we ended up leaving that shopping center and coming all the way down here. Like
Where there was a Kmart and a field.
right. So that's right. So if no one doesn't know, when we first opened here 22 years ago,
Mhm.
our basically main store in the shopping center was a Kmart at the other end.
And was the Tuesday morning here
I think Tuesday morning came in later.
later? Okay.
So
I was
there
talking
was-
to Scott over at Sports Page earlier, and we were here before they were.
Right.
And we were just kind of reminiscing about the
Yeah.
old days.
So I remember Kmart. I remember Candela's.
Mhm.
I remember, I think there was even then there was some pet store here.
Noah's Pets.
Yep.
Yep.
Noah's Pets was
For
here.
10 years after that store closed, people would come in and be like, what happened to Noah's Pets?
Yeah. So
Got
So-
on the boat, I guess. I don't know.
I'm sure I'm sure there was other places, but yeah, I remember Kmart, Noah's Pets, and Candela's, and then us. And once again, I'm sure there was other things here, but that was a big thing. I think Tuesday morning came in after the Kmart closed.
Mm.
And then Kmart closed, and there was nothing in that end corner for a long
it was a while.
time. Actually, there was I think even then there was a dance studio here. So I remember there was always a dance studio here.
Yeah.
I believe. There was
Yeah.
always an Irish dance studio in the shopping center.
There were like
too.
4 different ones
But there was
over
one-
time,
there
but it was
one
always an
here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I remember that. So that was also here, because the store we moved into was a bridal shop when we moved into that first location here 22 years ago.
There were a lot of mirrors on those walls.
And there was a lot of stages.
Yeah. Oh my God. I just Facebook memories last week was when you tore up those stages. Those were really well built.
Yeah, those stages were awful, like awful. It was so bad. But yeah, when we did the other store, like there was mirrors everywhere along the wall, and I remember us trying to pull the mirrors off, but they had glued all the mirrors to the sheetrock. So they were. So what we ended up doing is we just ended up putting the pegboard over the mirrors.
And like when you walked by it, sometimes you'd get a glint of the reflection. You'd be like, what is happening?
And so the mirrors were just shy of 8 feet tall, and so we could put the runner boards for the pegboard on top and bottom, and we just put it over. It was like, it was just too much. It was just because it was just glass everywhere if you tried to break it. So if you go by there now, if you walk by there now, you can still see where a lot of pegboard came down, and there's still mirrors.
Yeah.
There's still mirrors up down there. Yeah, you're right. They had really good steps for the dancing, because it was, I really thought that I was going to pull those stages up pretty easy. And it was not.
Yeah.
That was a mistake. But we needed the room.
We did.
So,
Yeah.
because we didn't need the display. And
Yeah,
the
we
windows.
finally got to the point where we were using every square inch of that store for retail space, and we still didn't have enough space.
No, because we even tore out the back wall.
Yeah,
So
we got rid of our back room, which was necessary, but man, that back space was messy all the time.
But that's where we put all the back issues.
Yep.
Back there, along with stuff. But it was like we tore down everything, and that's when we moved here.
Mm-hmm.
So you started So you started there not as an employee, but you were playing HeroClix.
I went there and started playing HeroClix. I want to say like 2003 ish. I know Cyrus was little.
I'm
He-
just a baby.
He was born in 2001, so it was like 2002, 2003, I think, when I started coming here to play HeroClix. And I was here playing games for a few years, a couple years at least, before I started working here. And then I worked here for at least a year, maybe two, before I started getting paid.
What?
So, yeah. What
That's just like Tess.
what? Don't give her hope that we're gonna pay her. Come on.
Oh yeah, well, I shouldn't have
Wait,
gave her hope.
what'd you tell me? 2006 is when I officially started.
I think it was 2007. Was it?
2007.
I don't know what
Okay.
month, but I know what year.
Yeah. So officially, I've been here since 2007, but I was here for a year or two before that, unofficially.
Like I can remember anything.
Like it was funny because I was scheduled to work on Wednesdays to help out, get the books processed, and get all that put away. I was always here on Fridays, playing games and stuff. And then-
2007.
2007.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't know what month. I know what year.
it's fine.
Have your taxes.
So I was always here on Fridays, and because I was here, I would help out because why wouldn't I? And there was one Friday night that I decided to go to the First Fridays art walk downtown, and so about like I don't know 7:30, 7:45, my phone rings and it's Frank, and I was like, oh, that's weird. So I answer, and he's like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm downtown at this art thing. He's like, why aren't you here? And I'm like, Frank, I don't work on Fridays. I only work on Wednesdays. I help out because I'm there. And he was like, oh, right. Sorry. And then I started working more days.
Sounds exactly like Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
And I spent 2 or 3 years thinking Philip hated me because basically I started working here, and as soon as I started working here, he disappeared. Didn't see him for like 2 years. And I was like, oh,
Like I would
Okay.
show up, but I was not on the same days that.
yeah, I never saw him. Like Frank was like, oh yeah, he works here on Wednesdays in the afternoons and the evenings. And I was like, okay, cool. So for the first couple of weeks he was there and then suddenly gone. And I was like, oh, I don't know what I did, but I'm sorry.
That was quite pretty funny. Yeah, because so the shop opened in June of 87, and I started working at the shop in March of 93. So I've been here now 30 years, which is probably way too long. So yeah, so I started working here in March of 93, and then we did all those moves, and then I became, was it 10 years ago? 12 years ago. 10 or 12 years ago, I became partial owner. I think it was 12 years ago, and then 10 years ago, I became
Yeah.
owner. I think that's how that went.
Yeah.
I have it written down somewhere. Can't remember. I don't have notes in front of me. I just make stuff up.
I had a friend who Frank was looking to get out and was looking to sell the store, and I had a friend who wanted to buy it, and like he was doing all the math and going to try and get loans and stuff, but he wanted to make it predominantly a gaming store that sold a few comics. Like he didn't really care about comics at all. He wanted it to be a gaming store. And Frank was kind of hemming and hawing and going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And then one night I was like, why don't you talk to Philip? Like I can't swear that he'd buy the place, but like he seems to love it. Why wouldn't you just talk to him before? And so sorry, it may be my fault that you own the store.
No, I blame you. Don't worry. I 100% blame you.
Which, had we gone that route, had my friend bought the store and we become a predominantly gaming store, I probably would not have stayed more than a couple of years, because I can tell you that the gaming part of the business was the part that burned me out and made me want to die.
And I'll be honest, I only tolerated the gaming side of the store because Tommy liked it.
So
Because I don't do games. I do
Yeah.
books. I'm
Yeah.
I'm a book guy. The gaming stuff doesn't really do a whole lot for me.
yeah,
Like I know a lot of people. I have a lot of friends who plays games and all that stuff. It's just not my thing.
yeah.
It's
Well,
like I can't stay up to 2 a.m. to do something.
I can't either anymore.
I couldn't even back then.
Whew, man,
It's not
those,
me.
those few years when I started running the store and I was here 85, 90 hours a week, those were not good times. Like at the time, it didn't seem like it was that bad, but in hindsight, man, anyway, don't ever do that.
Yeah. So we got out of gaming in May of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
I know the month and the year. There's lots of things that I will forget in my life. I don't think that will be one of them.
Was it the week after Free Comic Book Day? Because I know we had a Pokemon pre-release and a Magic
I
pre-release.
think
And
it
that
was
was our
2 weeks.
last.
I think that was 2 weeks, right? 'Cause I think we
Could have
had.
been.
I
don't
think we had
remember.
another tournament.
Yeah, we
Is
did.
what happened. So we had
Um,
another tournament.
Yeah, we had a weekend with a lot of gaming stuff going on, and that was like our last hurrah. And I have
Yeah.
not
So it
missed
was so Free Comic Book Day that year was the May 4th.
Mhm.
We had a tournament. Actually, we must have had a tournament that weekend
Okay,
on the 18th and 19th.
that
Friday,
tracks,
Saturday, Sunday. We probably had a
Yeah.
Magic tournament.
probably. Yeah,
And then that Sunday, that 19th, when we closed the doors, that was it for gaming. That was
Yep.
our last. That was our last hurrah for gaming. It was just a lot of hours and a lot of time.
yeah. I
And
used to.
there's other people in town who do it really well, right?
And
Like right
at-
down the street, our friends at Battlegrounds, they
Yeah,
do it.
they
really
do a
well.
great job. The
Yeah.
space is beautiful.
Yep.
The
And you
staff
can't-
there is knowledgeable and friendly, and I can't say enough nice things about them. And that was a small part of the decision making process. Like we've got a dedicated gaming store a mile down the road that does it better than we were doing it.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
And at the height of it, like after the housing market crashed and people stopped buying comics, at the height of it, gaming was 30% of our business at most, and it took 70% of my time. And that is not an exaggeration.
No,
at
that's-
all.
Yeah,
Uh,
I was laughing at Brian's comment.
oh,
He said Pikachu died a little inside that day. Sorry, I wasn't laughing at you
Okay.
and the hours you were putting in.
No, it's
It was-
fine.
I
It's
was
fine.
laughing at Brian's comment.
Yeah, it was a ridiculous amount of work for very little reward. And then people would come in, and part of it is that you have to constantly reprice things because the market fluctuates so fast.
Right.
Um,
And that's just not something that we're staffed for or
yeah, because the
wanted
staff
to
was
do.
me at the time. It was
Right.
just me. We were closed on Mondays, and that was when I slept.
Tess was not around to work for free then.
I don't even know if
So
Tess
it
was
wasn't.
alive then.
In 2019,
No, it was
you're
At-
talking 2010.
I want to say like 2010,
Yeah, you're
2010 to 2012 was really the
Yep.
the apex of gaming for us. And it was literally at most, I don't even know if it got to 30%.
Yeah.
But that was at most what our business was 30% gaming, and it really was 70% of my time.
It's a lot because it takes a lot to do all
It
of that
does.
stuff.
And it's a constant, like, anyway, it was a lot, and I'm glad I don't have to do it anymore.
And like I said, I'm a book guy. Like
Mhm.
that's what I got in this for. I got in for the comics, the books, all that. And we just had empty tables that was
Yeah.
sitting there. And it was like, I could have more books.
Yeah, it was wild because we talked about it, and it was like, if we got rid of gaming, it would probably take us a year or two to make up those dollars. And it took a month.
Yeah.
Like I just filled those tables with back issues, and
Yeah.
that's all it
Done.
took.
We're done.
Yeah. It really, we didn't really see a drop off as far as just pure, revenue or anything. And then it made me feel like I had wasted a lot of years of working a lot of hours to try and force something that didn't necessarily.
I
need to be
never
forced.
said that out loud.
You didn't have to.
I thought it a lot, but
I
I never
internalized
said
it. It's fine. It's fine.
I never said it. I never said it out loud. So it was just one of those things that was like, yeah, we're gonna move on, man.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be, you know what? We'll just slide right on out. Yeah, it's just gaming was a lot of work for us for what that I wanted to do because I just wanted books.
And what's crazy is like pricing a card is quick and easy. Like you can look at it, all the information is right there. All you gotta do is turn it over and look at it. So cards were very fast to price, and I hated it. Whereas right now, I'm spending all my time pricing comics, and it takes significantly longer because I have to look at them harder, and I love it.
Because it's art.
Yeah,
way
it
more
is.
fun.
It is wild how like it takes me significantly longer to price a comic, and I love it. And then like pricing cards, like I've got 2 shoe boxes full of Pokemon cards that I really need to price. But
You still
I
have
don't
these.
wanna.
It's fine.
I don't wanna.
Yeah, but like, where else are you going to go, right? So he's pricing books right now. He has Lone Ranger books from 1940.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's
I'm pricing a bunch of Golden Age Westerns
Yeah.
right now and some Tarzans, and they're like, for what they are, they're in fantastic shape. Like, you know, they're beat up because they're from the 40s.
well,
and
yeah,
50s,
40s, 50s,
40s
yeah,
and 50s.
whatever.
But man, they're cool.
Not this decade, some other decade.
Like, yeah, they're just fun. I also there was an Archie comic I priced today. I sent pictures of it to Phoebe because it's like on the cover is like Betty writing in her diary, and she's like, Archie took me on a swinging date last night. And like her thought bubble is like a swing attached to a tree. But I'm like,
Oh, that's so adorable.
but it's from like the late 50s, like, you know. Anyway, the book, it's super fun. I'm having a good time.
Brian, we have so many books. Like, we don't really tell people this a whole lot, but I could double the size of this store and we still would not have room to put out all the books that we have in the vault.
Yeah.
Like it is, and which is why we're doing this thing for July, that we're July 4th. We're going to pull down all the back issues and put up 400 new boxes. Like it's not like we're using the books out here and adding. We're literally pulling those 400 boxes off and putting 400 new boxes on.
And in the last week, I've priced, I don't know, 40, 50 boxes of books.
Yeah.
And I haven't needed to go to the storage unit yet. These were just books that were in the back room.
Right. And we're still nowhere near.
Yeah. I still have a ton of books back there to price.
Yeah.
Like I actually need to spend a day next week moving stuff to the storage unit to make space in the back to pile up these boxes that I'm pricing.
Yeah. It's just a lot. Like we just have so many books that either we just, at the old store, we just didn't have room to put it out because the store wasn't that big in here. I mean, we have room, but we do other things too. So
I can say that we'll probably have 2 or 3 times the amount of Silver Age books that we had before. I'm purposefully pricing the Silver Age stuff first. What is Brian's question?
What's
Do you
Brian?
want me to read it?
Yeah, would you read it?
Question about the comic business. Is there a reason comic stores don't tend to ship to customers? Seems like a lot of those books folks would want if they knew they were there.
So that is honestly 100% about what kind of business you want to be in.
And manpower. There's two things.
That's the thing. Like selfishly, I do not want to sit in front of the computer for 8 hours a day shipping books.
And online also can make it tough because like you can take pictures and like we've tried this in the past. You can take pictures, you can send people stuff and they'll want it and then they'll get it. And then they'll like, hey, this isn't what I wanted, or this isn't in good shape, or, it's got a ding here. And it's like, well, yeah, half the cover's missing. We already knew, right? It becomes such a hassle because once again, it goes back to manpower then, right? So now you're doing returns, you're getting books back, and you got to have someone to do it. And I like the neighborhood shop, right? Like that's kind of really what I like. So I would rather people in the area basically be able to see what we have versus going out to let other people outside the area, which is, I mean, let's also be fair. While we're getting all this together, it's kind of why Tess is here, because our big push on that is how do we handle this through social media now to get people in the store? Now, if someone sees something on social media and they'll call, we have shipped.
Yeah, we absolutely.
We absolutely
Yeah.
ship, but getting stuff online and getting good pictures and scans and all that, it is just a manpower issue right now that we just don't have.
Like if we wanted to set up like a dedicated like web store, we would need probably at least one more full-time person to do it. And I know we don't want to do it. Which
look, I can't even do Facebook once again. so I Tess is here.
Yeah,
it's 100%. Like it's just a lot of it's a lot of work. Like
now,
it is.
Back in like 2009, 2010, I utilized eBay because we had 3 storage units full of stuff, and I was constantly pulling stuff into the store and throwing it on eBay and selling it for however many pennies I could get for it. Any dollar I could make, I was doing everything I could to make a dollar. Which is part of the reason I was here 80, 90 hours a week.
And Brian's correct. We just want people to come see our new sidewalk.
I was gonna mention that.
It is quite nice.
Yeah, it is. It is about 2 inches shorter than the last one.
Yeah. And eventually it's gonna be even with the I don't know. They're supposed to do a thing with the I don't know.
So, but yeah, it's a lot of that. Like it's a lot like going on. But Tess is eyeing us.
I'm not eyeing you.
Evidently,
this is a special episode.
It is very special.
It's a very special.
Oh,
it's
a very special episode.
On this very special episode of RCX Unfiltered.
Whenever I hear very special episode, I think of that Different Strokes episode.
I know
that's all, and I'm like, I don't want to be a part of that.
Well, that's how that show started, right?
Yes,
that's how it opened. It's very special.
We're old. It's fine.
Don't worry about it.
I'm not old. Sorry.
Yeah,
it's fine.
It used to be sitcoms every once in a while would do a very special episode where they would talk about a serious problem.
Oh.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, we're like I said, we'll swap out those books. We're gonna go through, still got. I think Tommy said he's got done like 40 or 50 books, which means he's only got like 350 more to go.
It's fine. I'm not stressed. And then I scheduled 3 days to go to the beach at the end of June, and I was like, why did I do that then?
No idea.
I mean, it's Phoebe's birthday, so we're going for her birthday. But I was like, that's just a few days before I need all this to be done. So anyway, the next few weeks, if you come in the store and you don't see me, I'm here anyway. I'm in the back trying to price books.
Jamming the music.
Yeah, I do. I keep the music going because I need it to function. When Gregory is going on vacation in a couple weeks, so I may be pricing books out on the floor. But I've been trying to price them in the back because I'm not trying to create like a feeding frenzy of shark people trying to see what I'm pricing.
Yeah, we just, Bill, just so you know, we do have some crazy books that's in this collection that will be hitting July 5th. Like there's some stuff in there that not only is those 1940s and 50s Lone Rangers, but there's some stuff from the 60s and 70s that will be hitting the floor that people probably have not seen in a very, very, not just here or anywhere in a very long time.
A lot of what I have priced in the last 2 weeks is beautiful. Like this is the collection that we got the Giant Size X-Men out of. And a lot of his books are that quality.
Yeah.
Also today, I priced a decent little chunk of like Wonder Woman, like 12 to 15 cent Wonder Woman books, which I never see.
Yep.
So I'm excited for those to hit the floor.
Right. So all those will be also hitting on July 5th.
July 5th. Yep.
So we will, once we start getting closer, we will probably be getting the Tess to post pictures of some of the books as we get closer, what's going to be hitting on the 5th.
And I do have 15 or so boxes of all ages books that are not usually out on the floor. I've got them out here on the tables right now. They're going to be out here for like a limited time only, probably for another 2 or 3 weeks. And then they are going to go back in the vault as well. There's a lot of Disney stuff in there, Bill. Just throwing it out there.
Yep. And that will also be a part of the subscriber sale.
Yes, they will absolutely.
On Friday. That's why it was brought out.
Yep.
So there's a lot of cool, just random stuff in there too.
There is some weird random stuff in there. Yeah.
So you never know what you're going to find in these all ages books.
Yep. Yep.
Just saying. Just saying.
Got a lot of weird stuff in the store.
Yeah, we have a lot of stuff. Always lots of stuff. All right. Well, anyway, we will let you go. We appreciate you joining us tonight. If you would like to come and talk about more stories, if you're here in person and ask me questions, I'm probably more apt to answer certain things a little differently face to face.
And I do have some stories that aren't really good for public consumption, but I can, depending on who I'm talking to, I'll happily share some stupidity.
I am Batman.
I need Rob Bob to be here to really.
Rob Bob's got to be here for that story.
Yeah,
that's a great story.
Yep.
This is my skin. So, yes, we can elaborate more on that too. So, anyway, thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. We enjoy these talks, and we will be talking to you soon. We hope to see you Friday night. And if you're not a subscriber, we hope to see you Saturday. So we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.